I think I would have really given myself a lot more grace and said, it's okay if we only ride 3 rides today. Like, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
I know you spent a lot of money, but at the end of the day, like,
yeah.
I think the experience and just being able to be there with him and like with his brother was would have been a
Yeah.
1,000% worth it with more planning and
Yeah.
especially when I work with my clients to like shift their perspective of that this vacation is your vacation and not somebody that you saw on Instagram's vacation. And it is definitely going that made me go, I think if I'm struggling, other families might be struggling as well. It's like, how do I help other families beyond Disney? Because I mean, I love Disney, but
Hi, everyone. I'm Esmeralda Luna, your career coach, mom of two, and founder of New Horizon Moms. Of two who worked in the chemical industry for a Fortune 500 company for 15 years, I took a career pause in 2023, and a year later, I founded New Horizon Moms. New Horizon Moms exists to empower women professionals to build a career on their terms so they can be successful at every stage of motherhood. If the idea of traveling with your child on the autism spectrum feels overwhelming, you're not alone. Families say that things like sensory overload, long lines, and unexpected changes can make travel feel more stressful than enjoyable. As a mom of children with autism, I know that feeling personally. The planning, the what ifs, the fear of how your child will handle a new environment, it can stop you before you even book the trip. But here's the part that many families don't realize. Travel has become more inclusive than ever. There are now programs like the Hidden Disability Sunflower Lanyard, which discreetly signals that someone may need extra support in airports and public spaces. TSA also offers programs like TSA Cares, where you can request assistance ahead of time to make security screening smoother. Some airports even have sensory rooms designed specifically for neurodivergent travelers. And there are destinations around the world becoming certified autism friendly, with trained staff and accommodations that truly understand these families' needs. In this interview, you'll learn what makes a destination autism friendly, how to navigate airports and flights with less stress, and the kinds of accommodations that can make all the difference. If you've been putting off that first trip or feeling unsure about traveling long distances, this conversation is going to give you practical tools and the confidence to start. Today, I'm excited to introduce Dina Farmer. Dina is a certified autism travel professional and the founder of SpectrumGetaways, a travel agency dedicated to helping families with autistic children explore the world with confidence. As both a travel advisor and autism advocate, she specializes in creating sensory friendly travel experiences that reduce stress and increase accessibility for neurodivergent travelers. Drawing from her own experiences as a parent, Dina shares practical strategies that help families navigate everything from theme parks and cruises to international destinations. Through her blog, social media platforms, and travel planning services, she empowers parents to move beyond fear and discover that meaningful, joyful travel is possible for every family. When she's not planning vacations, Dina creates educational resources, speaks about autism friendly travel, and helps families turn travel into opportunities for learning, growth, and connection. And now let's learn about Spectrum Getaways.
Hi, I'm Dina Farmer. I'm a certified autism travel professional and the owner of Spectrum Getaways, and I'm also a mom of two autistic little boys. And I know firsthand the challenges that come when traveling with a family with autistic children. That's why I started Spectrum Getaways to help families like mine experience the world with confidence and ease.
And here's Dina in action. And with that, that. Welcome, Dina.
Thank you, Esmeralda. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for being with us today, Dina. So tell us, what inspired you to specialize in helping families with autistic children?
From my own personal experience, we're a retired military family now. Oh my gosh, my husband just recently retired from the military, but at the time, I was a Disney only travel agent, but a trip to the Walt Disney World Resort, just I wouldn't say I didn't know that my son was autistic, but just solidified that idea in my mind that maybe we should like look into this a little bit more, because that trip to Disney World was very, very difficult. So when I came home from that trip, I started to explore more about like how I could help him because we were still going to continue to move around the world and stuff like that with the military, and also how I could like make our family vacations better. So he got diagnosed, and then I started looking for things to help my family travel, and I didn't find very much. And this all happened back in like 2018, 2019. And there's obviously it's different from since then, but that Disney World trip was the spark that made me go, I think if I'm struggling, other families might be struggling as well. It's like, how do I help other families beyond Disney? Because I mean, I love Disney, but I want to see other places too, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so, Dina, from your personal experience, what has that taught you about families that want to go on vacations and, how can that become a better experience for them?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, unfortunately, we're humans, right? Not robots. So sometimes when we like look at other people that are traveling and their experiences and how they look like amazing or everything's flawless and seamless, I try, especially when I work with my clients, to like shift their perspective of that this vacation is your vacation and not somebody that you saw on Instagram's vacation. And it is definitely going to look way different than anybody else's, even compared to my own vacation. Because, all of our children are on different places in the spectrum, and some things are easier for other people. And, like I've had a couple clients that like, they're going to Alaska and their child refuses to wear anything but shorts. I was like, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work. But, but then
Yeah.
my son will also only wear Crocs. So like it's there's all different challenges, but your vacation is your vacation, and I think that's just changing that mindset of that it's not going to be perfect, and it might not be rainbows and butterflies, and maybe like one or two trips are not the best in the world, but you're still getting out there in the world and connecting with your family. And I think that's the most beautiful part because there's always a part of your vacation that you can save. I truly believe that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm glad that you mentioned that because, yes, no one size vacation will fit a family. So I'm glad that you shared that, you help parents understand what can they do to make their vacation possible and also find ways to accommodate with those challenges or things that they might find struggling with. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So, Dina, can you tell us what you would have done differently on that first trip that you took with your kids?
Oh my goodness. Well, I wish that I'd known that he was autistic at the time, because if I did, then I would have taken advantage of the services that are out there, such as like the disability access service for Disney, a lot more pre-planning, excuse me, to let him know like, okay, these are what all the rides look like, because he's very much like he just needs to be able to see like where we're going. It's not like this whole fleshed out thing, but I would have shared, what the rides look like. These are the possible things that we were going to eat. Here's a map for you to like look over because he loves maps to see like what our planned trajectory is going to be.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then just like completely just being appreciative of whatever we get accomplished that day, because travel is travel, right? And even during our own like to-do list day to day, we don't ever get everything done. So I think I would have really given myself a lot more grace and said, it's okay if we only ride 3 rides today. Like it's not the end of the world. Yeah, yeah, I know you spent a lot of money, but at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
I think the experience and just being able to be there with him and like with his brother was would have been a
Yeah.
1,000% worth it with more planning and all that stuff in mind.
Yes, I can definitely relate. I know that there were things that I wish I would have been more gentle with myself to say the important thing is that we're spending time together.
Yes.
And it's not so much like you said, you have to check off all the things, we have to visit all these places, but you're right. Just enjoying the moment that you have together and recognizing that sometimes it may not go according to plan and that that's okay.
Yes, 100%. And it's still going to be so much fun. And Disney World's not going anywhere, or any of the destinations are not going anywhere, right? So you can always
Yeah.
come back. That's what I always say.
That's right. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So now let's transition into let's help parents understand when a destination is being called autism friendly. What does that mean? And, how can a location get that type of certification?
Right. So, I just to like backtrack a little bit. I'm certified through the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards. And it's an international organization. It's a big mouthful to just be the IBCCS. And what they do is they certify police stations, libraries, attractions, travel agents, theme parks, all the things to give the staff that work there, or in my case, like a business, right? A
Mhm.
certification to understand, at least at a very basic level about autism. And then a lot of organizations can go further if they want to continue their education. Um, but you have to meet certain criteria, which it's different across the board for everybody. Um, but that organization can then say like, hey, this I'm trying to think like Universal, for example, they're working with them, but they're not certified through them. But the things that they provide just say like, hey, we'll like help you with getting through the rides, and we'll help you with like another disability pass to like minimize the wait, for
Yes.
instance, or to just make it like we have a difficulty with stairs, for example, so they give us alternate entrances so that we don't have to like go up and down stairs and or stand in crowds necessarily. Like we can kind of like work with Universal. It's very case by case basis. But there
Mhm.
is a couple of places, like a couple of cities that are actually certified, such as Mesa, Arizona is the first city that's been certified as a completely autism-friendly city, which is amazing. Which, in that regards, it means like 80% of the businesses that are there have like some kind of certified autism training, so that they know, like from restaurants, again, to attractions, all the kinds of things, to be
Mhm.
really supportive for people that are visiting there. And uh, oh, Dubai. I was trying to like, what is another organization? Dubai also is an autism certified destination, not city. And it's the same thing. And they also certified Emirates, I think. One of the two. I think it's Emirates, the airline.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And
Right.
awesome. So now let's talk about accommodations.
Mhm.
So, from resorts, rentals, or hotels, from your experience, what have you found works best for a family that has children on the spectrum?
So I think the most important thing is to definitely get in contact with these different places, especially in the case of a hotel, most specifically, or an attraction that you might be visiting. But thankfully, a lot of attractions work with different organizations like the IBCCS and Culture City. There was another one that I just forgot what it was. Autism Double Check. They work with them as well. That's what it was.
Okay.
And they have like some kind of designator that says like, hey, we support you, or like they have things that you can check out sensory kits and stuff like that. But I always say like if you know your child, which you do, like contacting a hotel and saying things like whatever your child needs, for instance, like do you need a
Mhm.
quieter part of the hotel? And you can request all these things, or do you need a room? Like we're big into like being next to the elevator because no matter where we're at, like at the end of the day, my kids are done. So, so I'm like, as soon as we can get, the faster we can get back to the room, the better. I don't want to walk like down a million mile long hallway. So,
Yes.
you can make a request like that, or make a request that I only want to be on the first floor, or like I would prefer the top, or just accommodations. And they usually hotels are pretty good about making those. And then I always generally try to look for hotels that have a key card to get into the pool, because that is something that can be incredibly scary for us as autism parents. And like some kind of security on site too, just in case you have a child that's prone to elopement and stuff like that. So um, basically, it's asking all of these different places, like, can you please support me with the accommodations that I have? And usually, they're usually fairly supportive. Sometimes I have a little trouble with international destinations because, the laws and the rules are different there, but
Yeah.
they do try their best. And I found like, again, if you just ask, most of the places they can be pretty lenient and supportive.
That's great to hear. Yeah, so it sounds like it's not hard to request what you need, but you need to ask for it
Yes.
and not assume that they will be able to accommodate. And like you said, you've had success with being able to get those accommodations for the families you've helped. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. You can't get what you can't get what you want if you don't ask. That's what I always say. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And so now that you've helped us understand about accommodation request, let's talk about now airports and how can parents help their children navigate airport security and have a smoother flight experience.
oh my goodness. I'm so thankful. Like oh my goodness, and there's so many different things that are out there to help families now compared to like when I started traveling with my oldest and he's going to be 15 this year. So there's just so much help out there now. You can sign up for the Sunflower Lanyard program, which is an amazing program. It's international. I think it started in the UK and then it's slowly traveled like to other airports. I know we have them in a lot of our US airports, and it's just
Mhm.
a lanyard, or you can get a pin or a button or a t-shirt. They have so many different options, especially for sensory stuff, to just show that you have a hidden or cognitive disability discreetly. So it's also a way to like ask like get support. So you can like I had a client that just came home from Portland and they said they used the Sunflower Lanyard program, and after they got through security, there was someone waiting for them, and the person took them right to their gate, which I was like, oh, that's really that's really great too. And it's a complimentary
Yeah.
program, so don't have to pay for that.
Great.
Another program I learned about recently is Air Ambassadors, which is a very similar program. I think they are also, it's another complimentary one. Not all the airports offer it, but it's the same thing where you can go to an information desk at the airport after you've gone through security and they can take you to your gate or like show you where different things are. Like if you needed help finding the USO or the sensory room or like the prayer room or something like that, they can help you do all of those kinds of things. And the very best program, and I hope it doesn't go away with all the changes with TSA, but we'll see, is TSA Cares, and it's another
Okay.
complimentary program.
Yeah.
I love them because you can, if your flight is within 72 hours, then you should call them. If it's before
Mhm.
72 hours, then you can just fill out a form on the web. But what it does is it helps you like get through security, and they'll take you through whichever line is the fastest line. Usually it's the
Mhm.
TSA pre-check line. They won't use the clear line, but they'll use one of the fast, whichever is the shortest, for the
Mhm.
TSA lines. And then a TSA agent will like actually like hand carry your carry on stuff with you if you want. They like I had a couple that pushed my stroller for me. And then they'd taken us to like the USO and
Uh-huh.
showing us where our gate's at and stuff like that. But the nice thing about it is they just make security really easy, and it's just like going through the TSA pre-check line for security,
Mhm.
as in like your loved one doesn't have to take off their shoes and their jacket. If they wear sunglasses for whatever reason, they won't take that off, and you'll never be separated from your loved one. So everybody will go through it together. And if they need to be pat down for any reason, like you'll be right there with them. So it
Yeah.
like makes it super duper fast. Um, and then there's like programs too. Sorry, like all this stuff like mine, but there's other things like flying with United. I think like all the legacy carriers do this, or Wings for Autism. They also do like a dry run at the airport, which is another
Mhm.
complimentary thing. So if you're just not sure about flying with your child, and you just want to like test it out a little bit. They have these free days where you can come to the airport. They'll show you what it's like to go through security. Sometimes they let you get on airplanes, sometimes they don't. Just depends on the availability. And they'll like show you what it's like to like drop off your bags and pick up your bags. And it's just a really fun day that's free, but a really great way to test out to see how your child will do at the airport. So I
Oh,
love
that
it.
that sounds wonderful. So if a parent wants to try that out at their local airport, do they go to the airline's website or how can they find out when that's available?
So you can look through Wings for Autism. They sometimes have that listed, excuse me. And then Autism Double Checked also has a sub program called Autism Flies on their website, so you can check that out. And then sometimes the airlines themselves will show when they're having one of those days. It's usually a really big day, and there'll be a lot of people there, so just be aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Great tips to share with our parents. And
Thank you.
now thinking about other resources and tools, do you recommend any books, any other resources that can help prepare a child before they get on the plane, going through the airport, anything like that?
Oh my gosh, there's a book I don't remember the name of the author, and I'm so sorry about that. But I do know it's called How to Travel with Your Autistic Child, and I found it on Amazon, which is I think it's a really great resource for parents to read through to help kind of like plan traveling with your child. And then I have a whole blog if you want to read it about traveling with your child. Um, and then as far as other resources, I love the University of YouTube because there's just so much out there as far as like POVs. There's actually social stories on YouTube as well that can help with like planning. And then I've found some things that have been really great, like actual walkthroughs for airports, which I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that before a client asked me, like, do you know what the
Mm,
airport looks like? And I was like, oh, I have no idea what it looks like, but I can find it on YouTube because someone has done a walkthrough of the entire airport,
yeah,
which has been, it helps a lot, like with the POVs and
absolutely.
stuff like that. I love YouTube, like for that reason, just to alleviate some stress.
Yes. Ways that you wish every parent knew before taking their first big trip.
Uh, I think we just talked about it, and it was just honestly giving yourself some grace, and really just taking it, just being really curious and open-minded about it, and just zero expectations. That's the word I'm looking for. Not having, oh, I know that's hard to say, right? To not have expectations about how your trip's going to go and you want to romanticize it and it's going to be wonderful. But really, it's
Yeah.
just, you just gotta, just like you treat your child every day, just like, just take it with open-mindedness and see how it goes rather than filling it with expectations. Because you never know how it's going to go. And it may go really, really great.
Yeah.
And then it may not, but you do have to rip the Band-Aid off, right?
Yes,
Not dream
yes.
about the trip, but do the trip. And then if it's not great, it's okay. You can do another one.
That's right. That's right. It's not a one and done.
Yes, yes. And I tell people that all the time because I hear that often, like, oh, I went to X, Y, and Z and it was awful. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It was terrible. I don't want to invalidate that, but one trip does not define every single trip. So you know, it's okay to have a bad trip. I've had plenty of bad trips, even with before children, right? So
Yes.
it doesn't mean I have to stop traveling just because it was bad. And you never know like where your child is at as far as
Mhm.
their therapies or where they're at in life. Like it can really help make some significant changes in their life. Because my kids have done things on travel that they never did at home, which I was like, oh, that's that's great. I'm so
That's
happy.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Dina, to close out our conversation today, can you share with our audience how they can get in touch with you if they'd like to work with you to plan their next trip and how
Absolutely.
that process looks like?
Yes. So you can find me on my website, www.spectrumgetaways.com. And I'm on Facebook, but I live on Instagram. So it'll be instagram.com/spectrumgetaways. I live there. I'm a millennial, so so it is. But if you go to my website, I have a trip planning form, and you can just fill out my form. And then once you've filled out my form, I will reach out to you, and we will start a conversation about what your trip looks like, your expectations, and your hopes, dreams about what the trip's going to look like. And then from that point, we start working together. And if it seems like a really good marriage, then hopefully we we work together. And if not, then that's okay. I know that there's other, I'm not for everybody, and that's a-okay too. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Dina, for sharing all this wonderful information for our parents so that they know that travel is possible with their autistic children and that they can also enjoy and get out there and have fun. Thank you so much for being with us today, Dina, and
thank
we'll see
you.
everyone next time. Bye bye.
Thank you.
For our audience, Dina has gifted us a one-day itinerary for Universal Studios Orlando. You can scan the QR code on the screen or find the link in the video description below. Here's how you can get in touch with Dina. By phone, calling 808-800-1249, through Instagram at Spectrum Getaways, through Facebook at Spectrum Getaways, and through her website, SpectrumGetaways.com. Keep in touch with New Horizon Moms through Instagram at esmeralda.lunaramos, through LinkedIn at New Horizon Moms, or through email at newhorizonmoms@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the New Horizon Moms channel for more content created to encourage and support you along your working mom journey. See you soon.